Oh, hi guys and girls, Emma again. Welcome back to the spare room. It's Friday night. I'm going to try and talk over all this noise in the shop. There's a bit happening. Got the lathe going. But there's a little saw arbor here for a drill chuck that I'm doing for a friend and a long time, almost a patron of this channel, because I always seem to get some pretty awesome goodies in the mail. But he sent this up from Melbourne and he wants it machined down, so I've made a start on it. I've just set it up between centres with a dog because that seemed to be the best way to do it. I set it up on this black part, which is the biggest diameter, and had quite a lot of run out, so I'm not real happy with that. It's a bit ugly here. So I've set it up like this and it's pretty well spot on. Just put a cloth on him and he's pretty close. So I'm going to turn him down. I'm back to using tap magic because I find it doesn't make things go quite as rusty. It was about 8mm and he wants it down to about 6, so we're going to just do that. And we're still about 7.5, so there's a fair way to go. I've got the printer going over there. I'll show you that in a minute, but there's a knob we're building for a pressure test machine at work that's missing the handle, so it's just a little threaded knob. It'll be a couple more hours, but I'd like to have him done for tomorrow, so I'm going to leave that running. I might check with him just to make sure it is. Just to make sure it is 6mm and not 1/4 inch, because if it's 1/4 inch we can go a little bit bigger. Yeah, he definitely said 6mm, so there's so many jobs to do in this workshop. On this lathe in particular at the moment, there's a couple of little issues with it that need sorting out. And the reality is that I need to get in and do some of these jobs. It's going to be pretty jolly close there. I'd like a job going out, I'd like a little bit better finish on that, so. So, that's the first job. Not too much damage on there where I've held the dog. Everything looks alright. One job done. Next job is this old plumb bob. Now, it's not a bad 24-ounce plumb bob, but it's missing the tip. And for a friend I said I'd just make a tip for it. Now you screwed a bolt in there, and that looks like M5 to me. It may not be, it may be 3/16 Whitworth or something stupid. I'm going to find a tap that fits it, and then probably put a chuck on it and make a tip. So we'll have a bit of a look at that too. Now, what's happened, and because this belongs to a guy who spends his life selling, buying stolen stuff at the markets and doesn't probably care a whole lot, and I'm sure you'll watch this, so you probably take exception to that, but someone's put a metric screw in this, and I doubt very much it's a number 24 plumb bob, so I'm guessing that's ounces. It's not 24 grams, and it's not 2.4 kilos. So this end here too's got quite a coarse thread on it, which I doubt very much is metric. So this has been 3/16/26 or something, and someone screwed an M5 bolt in it and damaged the thread a bit. If we have a good look at that, you can see the ends rolled on the edge of the thread where it's screwed in. So probably the easiest way is just to make this M5 to match now. And I've got a bit of steel here, which isn't anything particularly fancy. And what I'm going to do is machine this down to 5mm, I guess, and put a thread on it so it screws in the plumb bob in about the right shape. Turn around and put it in a 5mm collet and machine the end of it somehow. So that's about where we're at with that. So there we go. And I'm sort of guessing that this really only needs to be approximately the right angle. I'm not going to make any money out of this. I'm pretty confident about that. So what I'm going to do is just rough this down till it's an angle between about there and there, and I'm going to hit it with a file and clean it up, rather than mess around and change my top slide, which isn't a huge deal to set back in place with a sine bar and etc, etc, or even a decent DTI on here. But rather than do that and have it out for the weekend when I'm going to need it, I'm just going to rough this out and file it up, so that's going to be plenty good enough. Don't really want to get the major diameter big undersize at all, so I'm just being a bit conscious of that. We're not far out. And probably we made this a little bit short, but let's tidy it up. That's nice and neat. I'm going to put a bit of I'm going to put a bit more of an angle just at the tip to bring it down to a point. And we're going to probably call that done. If it was my plumb bob, I would probably be more... If it was my plumb bob, I would probably be a bit more fussy than that. But it's not, so that's going to do us. So anyway, that still do me for tonight. That's still printing over there. It's going to be most of the night, I think. It's only about halfway. And I'm going to put this back in my bag and probably post off the other job as well. Thanks for watching, guys and girls. More soon this weekend. There's a couple of things I want to cover this weekend. There's like a million jobs to do here in the next 10 weeks. Check out the playlist for the competition. There's some really awesome stuff happening there. And what else? And be kind to each other and click like and subscribe and all that. And we'll see you soon.